Hey, what's happening? Today's video is going to be a little different. This one's going to be about sim racing. If you're into cars and stuff, there's a good chance you're into racing games, possibly. I've never owned a setup like this before. I've always played on a controller in the past, so I figured this is uncharted waters for me. I've never played in one. I've never owned one. I figured I'd let you guys know how it is and is it worth doing. So I bought this Logitech G920 steering wheel and pedal and shifter setup, I think about 2 years ago, roughly, right when it came out. Shortly before that, I actually bought a different wheel that had many issues. I went to Micro Center and I bought a Thrustmaster TX series, which is very popular. It's supposed to be real good. All the boxes kind of looked returned, so I was like, well, they have a 30-day money back, no problem, exchange, if there's an issue. So I bought one, brought it home, and it didn't work. It was dead. Took it back, exchanged it, got another one, and it worked for about 20 minutes. And then it stopped working. So needless to say, after that, I wasn't going to mess with that wheel anymore. And I knew at the time I wanted a wheel that worked with Xbox because of Forza and PC for racing games on the PC. Logitech was just going to come out in a little bit at the time with the new setup that worked with both, which was this wheel. So I decided to wait, and I got this one. So I initially was looking at stands for it, like a wheel stand, either making or buying one. No, they're a little pricey to buy, so I decided, I'll just grab some wood and make a total ghetto one and see if I like it. So I made a little setup, which you can see here, and it doesn't look very pretty, but it functioned pretty well. The only problem is I was playing it on my couch, and it was really difficult to get in and out of because you had to pull it up on you and then kind of brace it from the rear so it wouldn't slide back. And it was a pain in the ass to set up all the time because I'd have to move my coffee table and set up the USB and bring everything around and get it all dialed in, and that kind of prevented me from using it much, honestly. It's like if something's difficult to set up and you feel like just running some laps for a little bit and then you go, it's going to take me 10 minutes just to set it up, I wouldn't bother with it. So I really didn't use it much. I liked it, but it was a pain in the ass. So with Forza 7 coming out, I decided, I love the Forza series. I love Project Cars. I wanted to get a proper seat. The couch wasn't doing it for me, and that wooden stand wasn't doing it for me. So I decided to get a little cockpit set up for the seat and the pedals and the shifter. And I went with the Open Wheeler series on Amazon. I think it was like $370 at the time, shipped. And it's really high quality. I highly recommend it. I'm very pleased with it. It's solid and it's comfortable, and it has a lot of adjustability with the seat. Like in a car, you can slide it forward and backward. You can adjust all the range of the steering wheel and the pedals and all that, and get it to your liking. So once I got that, I was like, okay, this is awesome, right? Loving it. It's a game changer. Still have the same problem though of setting it up in front of my TV. It is a time thing, and it's kind of a pain in the ass. Bring it out, break it apart or whatever to put it away. And I had a computer desk area over here that I really haven't used since I got my TV. I game everything on the TV now, and I do everything from my coffee table on the TV. Email, browsing, YouTube, you name it, it's on my TV. So I tore the computer desk out, and I decided, well, if I put it over there, I can set it up permanently. It's a nice little area, but I'm gonna need a solution to a display over there. So I decided, well, I can either get a TV for over there, which would be nice, but it's really just a convenience thing at that point. Like, it's not an improvement on what I have already. It's just a permanent solution for the rig. Or I could get the triple monitor setup. which seemed like amazing, right? I was like, that looks really good from everything I've seen on it. But I've been gaming at 1440p or higher for I think about 12 years, give or take. Maybe it's 10, 11, 12, something like that. I wasn't going to go down to 1080p, so I had to find 1440p monitors, which doubled the price initially right there for getting 3 screens. But I figured if it's good, it'll be worth it. So I wanted at least 27-inch screens. I started looking around. You can spend a lot if you start getting into the gaming monitors. Like, I think Asus has one that's like $800 just for one. I was like, I can't spend that much if I have to buy 3. That's insane. So luckily Micro Center had this Philips, which looked pretty new, and they're 32-inch, which was also a bonus, and they're 1440p, and they were $300. And I was like, there's got to be something bad with them, right? Like horrible lag or something. They're also IPS displays, which I wanted because the side screens are at an angle. The IPS doesn't get washed out. It looks good. So these had it all. They seemed good. It's a 5 millisecond response time. I couldn't find anything on the input lag, unfortunately. There didn't seem to be any reviews. I think they're too new, but I decided I'll test them out. I can always take them back. So it was kind of like a no-risk thing. Just buy them, try them, and if they suck, it doesn't work right, take them back, get my money back. So I went and bought the monitors, brought them home, and I built a little shelf system over there to put them on, figured out how I was going to angle the seat and put it and where to put the monitors and everything, and I got it set up, and holy shit, it's amazing. I mean, it is so much better. I can't even describe how much better it is versus like just a TV or one screen. The peripheral vision you get from them not only adds a sense of speed, but it allows you to see to your left and your right at all times. Like, you just have a spatial awareness of where other cars are when you're racing, where the boundaries are. It's just so much more immersive as well. It's the next best thing to VR, which I'll touch on in a second because I have tried VR. Yeah, I can't even recommend this enough. If you're into racing games, triple monitors and a sim little cockpit and wheels and pedal, it's a game changer. It's so immense how much of a difference it is versus how I was playing before. I mean, I'm just pulled into the game. I have a better sense on the track of what the car's doing, where I'm at, how it feels, and it's just amazing. I don't know what else to say. It's amazing. If you haven't tried it, try and find somewhere to try it because it's so worth it. Now, I have tried VR. I had a Oculus DK2, which was a pre-production Rift, and the immersion was very impressive. Like, there's nothing that compares to the immersion factor of VR. However, the problem with it, in my opinion, is not ready because the resolution is not there yet. It was very pixely, and after a while, it kind of like tired my eyes out. You know, I wore it for about 45 minutes at one point, playing Elite Dangerous, and I just wanted to pull it off. I didn't get motion sickness or anything. Some people are prone to that. I had no issue with that. It was comfortable, but it's just something about the strain on your eyes. I don't know. It wasn't for me. And although the immersion was awesome, it's just like looking through, a screen door all the time because it's just the pixels are so big and the focus was not right, especially on the sides of the screen, get out of focus. And as long as you're looking in the center, it's good, but off to the side, it gets blurrier. I think VR will be amazing once they get up to like 4K, 120 hertz. Then it might be like worth it at that point to me. But right now, like, I don't think the technology's there yet. The immersion is amazing. I mean, the three-dimensional space feeling of actually being in like a cockpit and being able to look around while you're flying. It's crazy. It's so good, but it's just limited by the screen and the resolution right now mainly. So I think eventually that'll be the way to go, but like I can say without a doubt, this is the next best thing. Like triple screens is very, very good, very impressive, has no drawbacks. The only thing you'll need with triple screens is you're going to have a pretty hefty computer. Luckily, I was set in that area because I'm a computer junkie and I'm constantly upgrading graphics cards and you name it. I'm always looking out for the next best thing. Currently, I'll give you a little just quick spec on it. I have the 5820K 6-core processor X99 platform. I've got it overclocked to 4.5 gigahertz on a CLC cooler, the H100i GTX, and I run also the 1080 Ti GTX graphics card overclocked to 2050 megahertz. That's also on a CLC EVGA cooler, just to keep fan noise low. I run gentle Typhoon fans at about 1200 RPM push-pull on both radiators, and it handles this like not even breaking a sweat. Like this is cranked right now and everything turned up to the max, not dynamic, in the game at 7680 by 1440, and it's only using about half the power of the GPU. So it handles Forza very well. In fact, Project Cars 1 is way more taxing. Like it was ramping up my GPU into the 80s and 90s at points. I haven't tried Project Cars 2 yet. I also picked up just a little 5.1 setup, Z506 I believe it is, Logitech. Not super impressed with it, but it was like $60 for a 5.1 system, so I wasn't expecting to be blown away by it. I had a nice 2.1 system, but I just wanted a more surround setup, so I figured I'll give this a try, and if I don't like it, I'll take it back. It's always a good thing. Buy locally with a return policy. You can always return it. Try it out. Kind of on the fence on it still, but I don't see an alternative really without spending quite a bit more money to really improve the quality. Like I have a spare receiver and I could get some small satellite speakers or something, but I'm gonna end up spending probably a good $200, $300 on them, and they're gonna be bigger, so they're gonna not just tuck under the monitors like that. They're gonna be behind it. I don't know. At this point, it's good enough. I've been using it and it's all right. Like I said, nothing to write home about, but for $60, you can't expect too much. So one thing I'll tell you with getting into the sim rig setup is this is on the low end, by the way. It's not cheap to do it no matter what, but you can spend tens of thousands, $100,000 on rigs. It's insane what stuff gets up to. There's $4,000 direct drive wheels I found out, crazy pedals, shifters, cockpit setups with motion control and all that, which that really gets expensive once the motion's involved, which is amazing, but it's just like, man, if you get hooked on this, it could be a very expensive hobby. But luckily there is cheap gear. You can buy simple stuff to get into it with and enjoy, and always look to upgrade later. But man, it's crazy what you can spend on this kind of setup. So if you're looking to get into this type of setup, I would say start with a wheel and pedals of your choice. You can look at all the reviews out there and decide what you like. The one thing I will say about Logitech is they have one of the best customer service in the industry. If you look around, I had a keyboard that died not by its own fault, by a power supply killed it by an accident, and they replaced it with just proof of a receipt. I didn't even have to send them the keyboard. I could have been lying, and they sent me a free replacement, and this was a $120 keyboard, not a cheap one. They just asked for a receipt, I showed them, they sent me a brand new one. That's good customer service. But yeah, get yourself a wheel and either make some type of stand or buy something so that you can use it on that's sturdy, and that would be the first step. And then I would say the second step is getting a nice seat, which, you know, those, like I said, the open wheeler, they actually have a red one right now, colored, for $320 something on Amazon. Same thing I have, it's just red seat instead of black, and it's, you know, it's not cheap, but it's cheap for where this stuff goes. It's, as far as, you know, this is entry level into this type of setup. And then look into getting like a triple monitor setup. You can go with triple 1080p. You can get 1080p monitors fairly cheap these days, 120, 150 bucks. Just find some decent ones with low input lag and stuff, and there you go. Now I'll say I'm no expert in this area. I'm very technology and computer savvy, but as far as sim rigs, this is my first. I'm absolutely in love, and I'm totally committed to this now. I love it to death, but I'm still learning. I go to sim racing forums, ISRTV, and you know, I watch videos. I've been watching some sim racing stuff and reviews, inside sim racing, back when I started and got the wheel, and just to see, you know, I like to do my research on stuff before I buy it. Generally, I go out and I see reviews and look up forums and kind of get a consensus and look up the ratings on stuff before I decide to buy things. I usually research stuff fairly heavily. So that's about that for now. If you guys have any questions on this, hit me up in the comments. I'll try and answer them. I'll put links in the description to the gear I have as far as the sim rig. I'm not going to list all my PC specs. I've given you the processor and GPU, and if you know, I'll put a little more in the description, but you know, that's the brunt of it really. But if you guys have any suggestions, tips, or anything, definitely let me know. This is a new arena for me, so I'm very happy with my purchase. I love it all. It works together very well. Forza has some bugs right now, but that's besides the point. It's excellent. You know, it's just so immersive and awesome, and I highly recommend it if you're into games, if you're into racing games or flight games. This type of setup is awesome. I briefly tried Elite Dangerous on it, which is a space simulator, just to see how that was, and holy crap, it's awesome as well. So for simulator type games, this is great. Anyways, I'll just let the rest of the video run. It's just some more driving, and if you guys would like to see more about this type of stuff on the sim rig, racing, whatever, hit me up, let me know. Kind of running dry on the Scat Pack content right now because I really haven't done much new to it, and future mods on it are looking big dollar, so I don't have it. So the car is kind of at a standstill. I love it, enjoying it every day, but I just don't have much content to make on it. So if you'd like to see more of this type of stuff, let me know. Anyways, I'll catch you guys later.